what I'm trying to make a through line with is really I feel like the pain I had for and from family didn't necessarily come from a lie that things are supposed to be perfect, but it was more of the gaslighting and refusal to apologize straightly and to give me the truth. So I appreciate Erin's videos that are straightforward in saying that your mom doesn't love you or your mom doesn't care about you, because if she did, she wouldn't have made these decisions, because I had already realized that as a child, but it's a conversation that always seems to go nowhere. And I remember, I don't know where I learned this from, maybe I'd watched a lot of movies or books, but I knew regret was a thing to avoid, and trauma, and that hurdle of honesty. So I remember being maybe 15 or 16 and writing my mom a letter explaining that I didn't like her choices and it had created a division in me from not having a father figure, and also the moving around and the changing of schools and not being invested in either personally or just functionally. Like, some parents care about their children at a personal level, and other people care in a way where they're like, it doesn't matter what you like, you're going to have this education and you're going to have these skills. And those cultures find that pressuring and sometimes complain about it, but at least it is honest, and they're, one part of your life will guaranteed go right. Like, if they can set you up with that mindset of financial independence and skills, then I do think you're cared about. I didn't get either of those, and I was aware of that. And I think at the time I begged more. But now that I'm older, I kind of realized my mom has worked to her actual brain capacity. And that's not to say that I forgive her, and I'm still wondering how much forgiveness should play a part in this. But the point is, it is something that I tried to make peace with at a young age. And I remember being 18 and writing a long email to my dad about how he had failed me, and aspects of myself were closed because of that division. And I have never read the Bible, but I have watched videos using it as maybe as an analogy, or something about using it more for discussions or observations, something like that, rather than straightforward. And they talk about the division in yourself, and how knowing is God and unknowing is Satan, or something like that. And I think there's a lot of truth to that, and that my mind had begun fractal because I came into the world and I didn't even know who my parents were. And then when you move around and you change schools and you're in a different class than other people, your mind is constantly split, and you cannot be that oneness or wholeness to know God. So my plan had been, okay, I'm going to be honest, and my parents will respond in some way that will grant me some kind of healing, and then I can move forward. But it seemed to me like, am I not apologizing correctly? Am I not crying correctly? Am I not hurting correctly? Because when I say these things, they either avoid an actual response, or they have never truly known the depth of the situation. So then it became, okay, how do I live like this, knowing that an apology doesn't fix anything? And they just refuse. And why would they refuse? And I guess I started making up a narrative or something that made sense to me. And it's like, okay, maybe if they look too closely, they're scared to look too closely, or they're scared to be around me because they know that they failed, and I'm a reminder of their failure, things like that. And this is about the necessity for reality and how I appreciate now more than ever people that just admit the rules and how it's not fair over and over again instead of um, the lies we're told. And I'd rather hear that it's hard, and I'd rather hear that I'm lazy, and I'd rather hear that the possibilities are slim than the lies, because the lies lead to lostness. And I feel like reality is such a better answer than this fake dream world that has no answers. It's much more simple to know, okay, if you want a better job, if you want a better pay, then you have to work harder than to sit there and think, like, there is this job out there that pays well, but I have to do nothing that I'm perfect for and no one else has to be perfect for. My friend recently wanted me to look over her resume, and in her cover letter, she said, you should choose me because I'm empathetic and I like helping people, etc., etc. And by now I have more vision and awareness, and I kind of just like, no offense, but the things you're listing out right here, it's essentially saying you're a woman, which duh, and there are many women. Like, people are listing out traits and things that they like, but clearly you were born with more likelihood of those traits because of what you already are. It's like those weren't bonuses, that's like a prerequisite of being your gender. Of course you're empathetic, of course you don't want to lift things, of course you like pretty things, of course you want to socialize a bit. As if life is this simple, it's not your favorite movie, and maybe this dull answer is better than no answer, and believing you can be lost. Comfort in God, trying, try knowing the totality of joy and suffering. Non-believers say if God exists, why isn't everything perfect? But the perfection they seek is a lie. God exists because reality is true. And the more I appreciate the totality, the duality, the more I feel non-dual, the more I have peace and not trying to fix something and not trying to fix suffering and thinking suffering is a lie or a mistake. Suffering is a mistake in my life. No, that's just part of life. I feel like there are 4 points or sectors of this thought that I'm having, and I'm trying to put them together, and I'm not doing very well. But it's just about the lie of liberation for myself as a person in America and also as a woman in America that was a girl, and the constant media kind of teaching dreams in a way where I didn't necessarily think like, oh, this woman in this movie is a fashion executive and I can be that or I want to be that. It's not like it taught me to be anything. It just taught me that there were options, and then you kind of self-assume that you will grow into a person with this dream, and you don't focus on what was really yours or more realistic options, because no one is teaching you the truth of life and also keeping you within your skill set or IQ, and they are judging through your environment as well. Like, I know that I've been considered smart by teachers, and I've been told I'm smart by family members, but when there are different types of intellect, you can't just teach someone or compliment someone as being smart without a guidance. And I didn't have the guidance I needed. There were points in which I did have guidance, but there's never anyone that's really going to watch you from birth to death or be that close unless they're your parent. And if you don't have your parent, you don't know what to do with a compliment and how far that can get for you, especially when it needs to be in collaboration with other skill sets. So you can be smart, but what if you can't be social? Or what if you're only smart in this aspect of insight, but not necessarily like mathematically, or you are not interested in business? So it is so easy to float into nothingness without that guidance and kind of assume that life will happen and you'll get the epiphanies because media said that when you're 25, you'll be the fashion executive, magazine editor, the artist in New York and Paris. And even now that TV's less intense and people watch videos of YouTubers and this alluring idea that you'll be an influencer or just the false advertisement of liberation of you'll be wasting your life if you make a decision. And then what happens is a lot of women have 10 years of, women and men, but for women it is more, it's a bigger risk and it's a bigger heartache because of your potential mothering years. And it's not only thinking like I don't have what it takes, but it's I don't have the interest or the drive for some manager position. Like I like being an independent thinker, but only for myself. Like I don't want to be in control of people. I don't want to be the boss. I'd rather think ideas and have them implemented or not. So considering that, I just don't think I can make a salary that goes above like 50,000 unless I'm working on something right now that is my most dominant career goal, and that could make me more than 50,000, but it is so particular that majority of my options, unless I do what is not fun and what is harder, would make less than 50,000. So I'd be an average income, which it is what it is. Sometimes it's hard. It's like I can't believe it's still hard to think about and really cement in reality, because the people I've been around, like my family members, legitimately, some of them have not made money in years. or I've maybe done like part-time work. Like no one has really, there's one person that has, I don't even know how much he's made the most of. The point being that the adults that I am most closely related to, it seems like nobody has made over 30,000 except for one person. And these are like full grown adults. And like I didn't even know that women wanting six figures was a thing until maybe the last 6 months. I guess I'm just like in a hole, like maybe because I've avoided dating that just never crossed my mind. But it's also like something that when I hear that from the manosphere, I'm just like, what? Like I never wanted that. I'm still focused on characteristics. And now I'm moving towards like I don't even feel like being picky about anything anymore. It just goes back to all my minimalist habits and the way that I've been getting rid of things, and I've just been watching less, I've been doing less. Like, I don't want the headache of coming up with a list of what a man should be. I think I'm really just shifting towards God, and I'm like, can you please, do this? It's not, like, I don't even know if I'm interested in the romance aspect anymore, or if I would rather some kind of arranged marriage idyll, because I just want to live functionally. And I think there is beauty in commitment, and the choice of choosing each other and having a bigger goal, and the drama that I see with dating and relationships right now is just this idea that there's, I have to be this for you and you have to be this for me. And it's like two sides of selfishness in a tug of war. When if you had a bigger purpose, and if you, like for instance, if you looked towards God and it wasn't just like personality and interest in each other, but like a higher goal, something more divine that encourages character, and not just like I want somebody that's funny, nice, smart, cute, like a goal for integrity, these higher levels of traits. That's what I feel like would make a real relationship work. Something that's like beyond a list of wants. And beauty in that hard work. And more beauty in the commitment, because love can be such a I think it is more romantic to rise and love and to create love rather than wander around and then have it hit you from the side and then decide like, oh, because you're the person I like. Like when I was younger, I always believed like love is when you like someone, like I like you enough to love you. And now that I'm older, I really understand the idea of companionship, and like it's not about liking someone enough to love them, but loving them enough to face life with them. So it's not about you looking toward me, but us looking towards life. And that I feel like is truth and reality of the situation, instead of being greedy or whining and materialistic, to accept that truth and to accept that hard work. And it is the easiest and quickest option to disregard fairy tale, men included, to disregard chasing and to simply say, like, I'm not waiting for fate to hit. What I want is marriage. What I want is children. What I want is a house. And I'm applying for it like actual dates of interviews, applications, and to people that are mature enough to understand that that life together would be better than waiting around for fate and basically floating. And this is something that I've thought about for many years, but I think it's hitting me different now because I'm so over my own personality. And I feel like it's a lie. Like, personality, we take personality so seriously, and like women will value it and say that that's what they bring to the table is their personality, and personality can be so fragile. It's like a lot of people's personalities are just trends and they don't value character. And I feel like that is maybe what I'm going through as well. It's just my personality is dissolving and all that's left is character. And I'm so over the emptiness. I just don't think anything's there. Like, I don't think I don't think there's anything left for me to know about myself. I think I'm at the end of myself. And that is why I feel most ready for marriage. There's just nothing to do. There is no great liberation. There is no reason to keep, to wait. There's no, like, life is this simple. And it's like weird to say, but I feel like I don't care about myself as a person. And that's why I'm willing to get married. And I think other women, they get into that independence thing and feel like being submissive is bad. But I think I'm just ready to be submissive because the way I've loved things anyway, I've always been such a supporter, and I'm like, I feel like a submissive role is just support, and I know that I wouldn't, want to be the leader, and I wouldn't like a partner or, excuse me, a husband to, I would certainly like to be listened to, but if you find, like, why would I want a husband that couldn't lead? And I would love to trust someone more than me. And women are lost creatures. Women want men to make them the purpose of their lives. I'm the woman, so you make me your purpose. And then you look at the woman, and she's completely lost. So why would you make lostness your purpose? That's essentially what it is. So I would rather follow a man into whatever he wants because I just don't want anything. And I think that's fine. I think because I'm not interested in things, I I really have no expectations for life anymore. I don't even have like a bucket list. I don't have a goal list. I try to make up stuff because it feels weird to not have goals, but it's just like global traveling, learn a language, and then like get married and have a house. I'm not sure about children yet, but I think that's just it. Like, when you don't have guidance, I've had to talk in my head for like 15 years about everything to get to this point, to know that none of it really matters. And I think the best thing you could do is just roll with the functions of life and live the most naturally. And that's just the easiest. Instead of going against human nature and making up things. So I also think, like, when it comes to politics, And this idea of like the liberals winning, I kind of realized like for the last 100 years they've won. When everything becomes functionless, that's their winning. And I think it's totally backwards. I think God is function, and all this functionlessness, like this self expression, this liberation, I just feel like this is the devil because it is so unproductive and people are spiraling and they keep thinking their spiraling will be solved if there are less rules and if everyone, if it's just like free for all. I even think like I'm questioning emotions and this idea that being emotional is being more spiritual and more in tune with God. I don't think God is confusion. I don't think God would be emotional. I think God would know what to do. God would be knowing instead of feeling. So I guess I could say hope. I feel like right now in my release and relief of the lies and the selfishness that is personality, the delusion, I know I can make great progress just by have been honest with myself. It's just an interesting thing to realize.